Hey guys, welcome to the MoneyfitMD Podcast. I'm so excited about what you're about to listen to. This interview that you are about to enjoy is a conversation between Brittany, who is the community manager. She's a success manager for MoneyfitMD, and what she does is help women physicians be successful in living and creating their rich life. And she is interviewing one of our members, Dr. Amanda, who is an amazing badass physician, single mama, who joined our money school literally just a couple months ago. And I just remember a lot of the fears that she had, the concerns she had about how will I find the time to be able to do money with being a single mom? How can I go from living in scarcity mindset, which is where she was, to being able to switch? And I remember so well that she verbalized the impact that her finances at that time was having on her ability to show up as a mom, as a physician, and just in a way that she wanted to. And it's been such a privilege walking her through this journey over the last couple of months, having her learn the financial education that we teach in the curriculum inside of the money school, having her be coached every week, listening to the replay, and just seeing her shift every single week. It's been such an honor. And so what you're going to learn today is how she has been able to make that shift from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset, and how that has impacted her journey, especially as a single mom. So it is such a great conversation, that even though this was an interview that happened inside of our free Facebook group, which is the Financial Liberation Plan group for women physicians, I was like, we need to have this on the podcast because I know that some of you guys are going to benefit so much from listening to this conversation. So it was so good. It was pure gold. So enjoy the episode. And if you love what you hear, make sure you leave us a review. Let us know, because this is something that we're testing out, which is where you get to hear more real life experience, right? We want to bring, because you're not alone in this money streets, right? And so just leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening to if you found anything helpful about this recording that you're about to listen to. And if after listening to it, you're like, Latifat, I want to be the next testimonial. I want to be like Dr. Amanda. Maybe you're a single mom that identifies with some of where she was, and some of the wins she's celebrating are things that would be a dream come true for you. Then we would love to chat with you. And the way you do that is go to moneyfitmd.com/call and just go ahead and schedule a complimentary call with us. We're here to serve, and we will help you know if this is the right space for you or not. And if it's not, we'll make sure we point you in the right direction. So now enjoy the episode.
I am Brittany from MoneyfitMD. I'm the community success manager for MoneyfitMD, and I have someone here with me that I've had the honor of serving inside the money school, and we have her here because we're just so proud of the progress she's made, even in such a short time, that we just want to give her space to share her story and share her process and her money journey. So I'll let you introduce yourself and let us know what you do for a living.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amanda Queen. I am an adult endocrinologist in Ohio, and I am a single mom. Do you want me to go into the more story now, or?
Yeah. So before, let's start at the beginning for those who want to walk through your journey. So before joining the money school, what was one of the challenges you had when it came to facing your finances?
Oh, I wanted to stick my head in the sand and pretend like it was not a problem. And I thought, it's funny, as I've been like thinking about this and like the past week, like leading up to this, I thought I was being good with my finances, or better. And it was better. I'm going to give myself that I would look at my finances every morning and like move money between the different accounts to make sure that all of them were okay. But I was so scared about everything. So, I grew up, my parents, I've had two working parents. They did fine, but they were always stressed out about money. They retired, and they've retired really well, and I'm super happy for them for that. But I think I always kind of grew up thinking I don't really want to stress about money. But I think I've put my head in the sand a little too long. And now, as I was coming into this, I just turned 50 this year. And so, it's that like, oh my, like I get to put more money into my 457 or my 403B, and I get to put in all these extra things because I'm getting closer to retirement. And we just renegotiated contracts and it'll be up in a few years. And as we were going through the process, there was like a little bit of like I need for this to work. And I didn't want to have any more of the need for this to work. I want to stay and be happy, but I want it to be a choice. So I think I was very, it was always like in the back burner of my head, like refrigerator thoughts sort of running back there, like thinking about things, but not really paying attention to it, worrying, but not planning, if that makes sense.
Right. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. As Dr. Latifa calls it, it's being constipated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the moment you knew something had to change? Something had to change and you needed to invest in yourself, and then you joined the money school. What was that moment for you?
So I had heard about Latifa, I think 2 years before joining the money school, 2+ years, from a mutual friend. And then I started seeing her, and I think she's not in medicine, so she kind of assumed like, well, you're in medicine, you must know her, even though Latifa lives in California and I'm in Ohio. But I started seeing her on Facebook and various places and started kind of following her and like from a distance. And then a friend of mine was in the group and I talked to her about it. And I think I got more interested. I listened to the podcast a couple times and I had a coaching, or I had like an interview call with Latifa. And I think that's what finally did it, because it was an expense, an investment, I will say, in myself that I wasn't sure. Like I remember telling her, like, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust me. To be able to put forth the effort and to do things and to like make the leaps when necessary. So, but in talking with her, she made a comment about, well, why are you waiting 10 years for that? Like, why can't you have it in 3 years? Why can't you have it in 5 years? And I was like, yeah, that would be really nice. And I think her enthusiasm and the, like, this could be a different way proposition was really appealing. And I remember talking to her about my financial planner, who I really do appreciate and respect. But she was like, hey, why don't you hold off on that? And like, I'm hearing a lot of, well, he says to do this. He says to do this. You know, like, I want you to make these decisions. Or wouldn't it be great if you felt comfortable making these decisions and not just following? And I realized, like, I don't follow in a lot of other areas of my life, but I'm following in this huge one.
Yes, that's so good. And so you joined the money school. You started getting coached by our amazing Dr. Latifa. What was the thing that you realized you had to work on first?
It was my spending. I was really good. Like, I joke with people. Well, so when I went through the divorce, I joked about retail therapy. And it really became a problem more than anything. Like, I remember there was something that we did in a small group where they were like, well, don't buy anything for a week. And I was like, no, what do you mean I can't buy anything for a week? I have to, my kids, they need things, which is ridiculous. But it also just became something that I would just do out of boredom, or like late at night, I'd be scrolling through Facebook and I would see like, oh my, like, look at that ad. That looks really cute. And, you know, and I would joke with people, for some reason, Home Depot seems to be the most for me, but like, I'm like the marketer's brain, because I sit there in line and I see all the things that I didn't realize I needed. And I think that happens with social media a lot. Or like, oh, this link, this reel, whatever. And I didn't realize how much I was spending on stupid things, or on, or not stupid, but just things that didn't contribute to my life. Yeah. And cluttered my life. And then also like just little expenses that were just like, that I had started once and then just kept on going, like some of the subscriptions and things. And I had started to make some spending changes prior to joining. And I think that's maybe what kind of got me interested, that I was already starting to make some changes and realize like, hey, I can do more. And I wanted some help with that. You know, I like having pretty nails, but I was realizing how much I was spending on getting my nails done and how annoyed I'd be. Like, I have to make the appointment, otherwise my nails are going to like get caught in my hair in the shower, or like just stupid. And like how I hated it became less of a thing that I enjoyed and more of a thing that I had to do. And I realized that I was spending money on that, and I'd rather get a massage once a month. Like, I started thinking about my money in different ways rather than just, and using it for what I want. Like Latifah talks about like the arms of wealth. And I was realizing I was like just kind of letting it slide without planning. And I wasn't planning some vacations that would have been fun to go on, or even long weekends with my kids, or I just wasn't being as intentional. And so I think starting the spending was looking at that part, but then also really tracking it. So I had an app that I used to track everything on, and then the app kind of changed, and I stopped a long time ago, and I went back to it. You know, it wasn't perfect, but it was better than nothing. And I actually did like it. I think I learned a lot. I started seeing things come in, and I wasn't realizing where things were going. And it actually felt good. I think that was part of the process. Like, as I was seeing it, and then I'd be like, wait a minute, I've been doing this. I haven't used that in years. And I would get rid of that. And it was little amounts that, I mean, they did add up. But I think the biggest thing was just, it was kind of empowering to be like, no, I'm going to say no to that. I don't need that. I don't want that. And even, you know, I feel like that led to other things, like in my closet. Like, I could actually like declutter some things. I don't need to keep this for a rainy day. Like, I can get rid of this, and I will be happier not to have it. And look what I just found in my closet because I got rid of these 3 things. So I think that was a huge part for me.
So what I'm hearing is you realized that it wasn't just a spending problem. It was, you weren't spending things on things that brought you and your life value. You were bringing clutter. And when Dr. Latifah helped you realize that. And when you realized that, it was empowering because you felt empowered to say no, because no, this doesn't bring me value. So I actually don't want it. And I think that can be very encouraging for other listeners, because I think we're all guilty of that. And it's all about bringing your value to your life. That's amazing. Yeah.
And I think it also helped me realize that it wasn't as bad. Like, I had it in my head, like, the story I would tell is I'm the worst with money. I'm terrible with money. And I wasn't that terrible with money. You know, that's what I was realizing too. And with a few changes, I could be a lot better with money. That was the other part of it, I think.
So how did Dr. Latifah and her coaching and just being in the money school community, how did it help you through that thinking process and help you overcome that a bit?
Well, the fact that I'm here tells me that I've gotten rid of a lot of the shame around how I felt about money. Because there's no way I would have done this a few months ago.
Showing your face.
Yeah, exactly. This level of vulnerability. But I think just being in this room and it's not a huge group, it's a great group though. And I remember my friend telling me, like, these are my people. Like, I belong to a lot of groups and a lot of things, but like, these are my people. This is the group that I keep going to, keep doing things with. And I would agree, you know, like, there's amazing women in there, and they're all at various stages. And I can kind of tell as people have talked, you know, some of them started out where I was, and now they have these great investments, and they're doing things in the real estate market that I would never have considered were possibilities 4 months ago. So I think that was a huge part of it, just being in the group, talking about it openly. There was a no shame group. And hearing her, like, Latifah's so infectious. Like, you can kind of just borrow her enthusiasm and her belief until I could believe it myself, sort of.
Yes, that's good. So if you could go back to Amanda before you joined the money school, with all the fear, with all the doubt, carrying a little shame.
No, not a little.
A lot of shame.
Yeah.
You could speak to someone, because we know there's a lot of women still there that may be watching or will watch later. What, and are on the cuff of, should I take the leap? Do I need help? What could this look like for me? What would you tell Amanda at the beginning? What would you tell these women?
You know, I think it would be the same thing. What Latifah told me that kind of convinced me was, listen, I want to be better than the stock market. I want to be better than in other investments. And I do think it is. I think what I have gained from this is huge. You know, I've talked about this before. I think I was probably living like 80% of my life in scarcity, 20% in abundance prior to coming in. And I definitely feel like it has flip-flopped. There's still some scarcity that seeps in about various things, but it's 20% that and 80% abundance now. And I think that is just freeing. I feel much lighter about money because of this. And I will tell you that when I signed up for this overnight, I mean, I was like, oh my God, like I had like woke up, like, what did I just do? But it was great. And I think within a few weeks is what I realized. And I just settled in right away and did a lot of the classes, and kind of like when I would get scared, I'd just put on a class. And that was super helpful. And I listened to a lot of the old calls because you have access to everything from before, which was very helpful. So, and then I started, you know, I just see so many people at various levels of income, and everyone has this scarcity around money. And so I think for her to, I wanted to have what she had, basically. And she's pretty open about where she started as well. So you could see that it's possible.
Yes, I think that's why a lot of people feel safe in her space, because she is very authentic. You get what you get with Latifah. Behind the scenes, in front, she is who she is, and it's an amazing, safe place to be in. So how has being in the money school, how is that showing up in your life? How has that impacted your life? And how is it showing up beyond your finances, beyond the money school? What ways has it impacted overall?
You know, I think there was, I think it's that there's going back to those arms of wealth and making sure that I'm looking at every aspect and putting more planning into the money side of things. Not just, I mean, I was thankfully very good about investing and like all the automatic things, but things beyond that. So I'm looking at a passive real estate investment now, which I think is helpful as far as the money part. Beyond that, I was considering taking some time. I have a 7th grader and a 5th grader, and I was considering taking some more time with them, but I couldn't wrap my brain around like, what is that going to look like? And can I afford to do it? And because being, you know, I'm the sole provider for us. And so I feel like I think that added to the whole scarcity thing. But I've realized, and I think it's made me do actually. And I think this was one of the turning points for me, is that I think it just got me thinking about money in a different way and starting to also look back, like, why am I having these thoughts? Like questioning all those thoughts. And I've started to realize, like, I have these thoughts that I'm terrible with money and that money is scarce. But when I made half as much money, I was doing all of these great things. And every time I need something, it's there. Like it isn't scarce. It is abundant. I have ways to make other money. I have my job. I have other venues. And so it was more of a little bit of a reality check on that front. And then I think, so in that part, I'm trying to get home earlier, so that I have a babysitter on days where I can't get home, but if I can get home early, then she gets home early. And that has been super helpful. And I don't know if I would have done that or thought to do that or thought that it would be possible prior to this class. And I'm seeing other people prioritizing life outside of work.
Yes.
Like I realize my time, you know, I've got 5 more years where my one son's home and living under my roof. So I want to enjoy this time.
It sounds like you went from scarcity and feeling lack and looking at what you didn't have or couldn't do, to abundance, to seeing opportunity and more things and being able to live from that opportunity.
Yes, you're much more concise than I am, but yes.
No, you're doing great.
I'm really good at making a short story long.
No, I think this is so good, because a lot of women physicians are where you were, and it's inspiring to see people's journeys because they can see themselves in that journey and know that there is a way out, and that if she can do it, they can do it too. Mm-hmm. So we just want to thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your time with us. I know you have your babies, you just got home, so we don't want to keep you too long, but I think this will be, or I know this will be so helpful for anyone who's watching or will watch. And we thank you that you showed your face today.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes. Have an amazing evening, Amanda.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.